Central Bank introduces regulations to protect financial consumers. National Consumer Price Index sees a significant decline. Welcome back, you're with State of Business. Now let's have a detailed look at today's stories. Now, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has introduced the Financial Consumer Protection Regulations under the Monetary Law Act of 1949 to enhance existing financial consumer protection frameworks. These regulations were published in a Government Extraordinary Gazette on the 9th of August 2023. They are intended to be uniformly applied to all financial service providers regulated by CBSL. It is anticipated to enhance the existential financial consumer protection frameworks, specifically the Financial Consumer Protection Directions. The Central Bank said the regulations will lay the groundwork for Central Bank's supervision of market conduct, fostering the development of a reliable and secure financial system in Sri Lanka. The Central Bank noted that it has integrated the latest developments in areas of digital financial services, customer data protection, and the specific needs of consumers. Furthermore, a structured internal compliant handling mechanism has been established, complemented by an alternative dispute resolution mechanism provided by the Central Bank. A notable feature introduced by these regulations in Sri Lanka is the introduction of comprehensive customer protection supervision, known as market conduct supervision. This extends a full range of regulatory and enforcement powers to the Central Bank and authorized officers. Central Bank said the phased implementation of these regulations will take place over a period of 12 months from the issue date. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's overall inflation rate as measured by the National Consumer Price Index experienced a significant decline in July, dropping to 4.6% on a year-on-year basis against 10.8% in June. The decrease can be attributed to the moderation of prices across various goods and services categories from their recent peaks. The inflation prints by both the NCPI and Colombo Consumer Price Index for July could further embolden the Monetary Board to announce another policy rate cut. The Monetary Board delivered two rate cuts totaling to 450 basis points in June and July. In addition, the bank's reserve requirement or statutory reserve ratio was slashed by 200 basis points in early August. The actual prices continue to remain considerably elevated compared to previous levels, and the potential for expected increases has not entirely diminished. India this week decided to limit exports of big onions and slapped a 40% tax to keep the local prices stable as hot weather is straining supplies. In response, the big onion prices have soared nearly 50% in the local market as the supplies are weakened while the demand has also increased. The national food prices came down by 2.5% annually and 0.4% monthly, reflecting an element of true easing in prices. The non-food prices rose 10.9% in July from a year ago, down from 18.3% in June, while the prices measured monthly declined by 1.0%. The core inflation measured, barring items such as food, energy and transport, decelerated to 6.3% in July from 11.3% in June. Now, the provisional data from the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority showed that for the period of 1st to 20th August, the daily tourist arrival average is nearly 5,000, which indicated that Sri Lanka welcomed over 100,000 by August 21st. With the performance in August, Sri Lanka has surpassed 100,000 arrivals in 7 out of the 8 months thus far this year. The exception was made during which the country recorded a count of around 83,000 international visitors, falling below the 100,000 mark. Sri Lanka Tourism has set a target of attracting around 150,000 tourists for the month of August. Accordingly, the cumulative tourist arrivals for the first 8 months ending on August 20 stood at over 850,000. India has taken the lead as the primary source market for Sri Lanka's tourism industry, accounting for 20% of the overall tourist arrivals during the 20-day period. Ranking second is the UK, bringing in 12% of the tourists' arrivals. In the third place is China, contributing 7% of the arrivals, bringing in nearly 7,000 visitors. The other key source markets include Germany and France. The Russian Federation, which has the largest tourist traffic generator for Sri Lanka since the opening of borders after the COVID-19 pandemic, has slipped to the 6th position. It accounted for only 5% of the tourist arrivals during the period under review. See you soon with more stories after this short commercial break. Welcome back. You're watching State of Business. Now, Cabinet Minister Bandula Gunawardena said that Channel I was rented out in order to save the Sri Lanka Rupawahini Corporation from bankruptcy. Minister Gunawardena stated this while replying to a question raised by MP Anurukumar Dissanayake in Parliament yesterday. The minister said that the airtime belonging to Channel I owned by the Sri Lanka Rupawahini Corporation has not been leased to a private company for 6 months. He said the airtime has been provided to VIS Broadcasting Company for 6 months on rental basis for 150 million rupees per month. The minister clarified that the board of directors has been empowered to carry out the relevant transaction in accordance with the provisions of the SLRZ Act. The minister further said that the SLRZ has made a loss of 1,660 rupees million since 2018. Bandula Gunawardena emphasized that the decision to rent out the Channel I was made for the purpose of running the institution. The minister stated that the central government has given money every year for the maintenance of the television network. The minister acknowledged that the institution was not even in a possession of paying its electricity bill at the time the MOU was signed. The minister said that if provided that any fraudulent activity has occurred through this transaction, he will resign from his ministerial position. The minister proceeded to table the MOU signed between VIS Broadcasting Corporation and Sri Lanka Rupawahini Corporation in Parliament.
රූපවාහිනිය පවත්වාගෙන යාම සඳහා සෑම වර්ෂයකදීම මධ්‍යම ආණ්ඩුවේ අයවැයෙන් දීලා තියෙනවා 2014 දී මිලියන 182ක් 2015 374ක් 2016 273ක් 2017 196ක් 2018 295ක් 2019 467ක් 2020 263ක් 2021 229ක් 2022 541ක් මේ අවුරුද්දේ 253ක්.
Meanwhile, State Minister for Ports and Aviation Premalal Jayasekara alleges that he is not being allowed to perform by some officials at the ministry. Speaking to media personnel, State Minister Jayasekara said that he would expose fraud and corruption taking place at the Ministry of Ports and Aviation.
දැන් මම උදාහරණයක් කියනවා වරායේ පෞගී කාලේ කුස්සිය කිචන් එක රිපෙයාර් කරන්න හැදුවා ලක්ෂ 80ක විතර මම හිතන වැය වෙනවා කියලා කොහොලා රිපෙයාර් කරන්න හැදුවා. දැන් ඒක පැත්තක දාලා ඒක අර වවාගෙන කන්න කෑම නිසා දැන් මේක කුස්සිය කිචන් එක අලුතෙන්ම ඉදි කරන්න දැන් තීරණය කරලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් මේ වගේ දේවල් ඇතුලේ ගොඩාක් වෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒවා අපි එළියට ගන්නවා දැන් ඉස්සරහට. නිහන වෙලා ඉන්න බෑ හැමදාම. ඇමතිවරයා කියලා දෙකට නැමෙන්න පුළුවන් කමක් නැහැ නේ. ඒ නිසා උන්නා අමාත්‍යාංශයේ ඇමතිකමෙන් අයින් කරයි නැත්නම් දේශපාලනේ අපි සමුගන්නවා. අතන වැඩක් කරා මෙහෙම කරලා ජනතාවට සේවයක් කරන්න බැරි නම් මේ දේශපාලනේ කරලා වැඩක් නැහැ.
කැබිනට් මිනිස්ටර් ඔයාගේ මිනිස්ට්‍රි එකේ යටතේ එන ඔක්කොම හැන්ඩල් කරන්නේ නේද?
කවුද?
කැබිනට් මිනිස්ටර්.
ඔව්. අපේ මම දැන් මේ වෙනකොට ආයත මට මේ ඒවියේෂන් එකේ විතරක් ඩිරෙක්ටර් පෝස්ට් එකක් ගත්තා එකක් පුහා අමාරුවෙන් ෆයිට් කරලා අනිත් සියලුම ආයතනවල සභාපතිවරු උපසභාපතිවරු අධ්‍යක්ෂක මණ්ඩල වරායවත් මට එක අධ්‍යක්ෂක මණ්ඩලයක් කෙනෙක්වත් තනතුරක් වන්නේ නැහැ. සියලුම තනතුරු වල ඉන්නේ අමතුමාගේ ගෝලියෝ ටික. ඉතින් එහෙම වුණාම අපි ඒක ඇතුලේ මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා තොරතුරක් දැනගන්න විදියක් නැහැ. නමුත් දැන් මේකේ ඉඳලා මොකක් කරන්න බැරි වුණාම අර තේරුම් නැහැ ඒක.
දැන් වරයට එක සේවකයෙක්ක් දාගන්න බැරුණාද මේ මාස 9
තාම නෑ. නෑ. අඩු ගන්න ස්ථාන මාරුවක් කරගන්න මේ මිනිස්සෙක්වට ඒ උදව්ව කරලා දෙන්න කොර කරන්නේ.
Now, Sri Lanka's first integrated renewable energy project will get 100 megawatt renewable energy project on a 200-hectare land block in Siamalandu in the Monoragala district of the Uva province. The government granted a letter of award to a consortium of private companies led by Windforce, Lagdhanavi and Singapore Blue Circles to commence the project last week. This marks the first project to be approved under the first 2023-26 renewable energy plan of adding 2,500 megawatts to be followed by another 3,000 megawatts under the second 2027-2030 phase. The consortium secured the contract following a competitive international tender floated in August last year. The award was for a 100 megawatt solar power plant, a cutting-edge 12 megawatt battery energy storage system, a grid substation and an extensive 27-kilometer transmission line. This holistic approach seamlessly combines a renewable energy plant, storage system, grid substation and transmission lines. The consortium is slated to sign the 20-year power purchase agreement with the Ceylon Electricity Board by end October. The project will use approximately 200,000 bifacial solar panels with single-axis trackers. During the construction phase, around 500 unskilled jobs will be generated and 50 post-completion. The project cost of $152 million will be financed by $106.4 million via debt and $45.6 million by way of equity.
The project was awarded through a competitive bidding process, not by invitation. So it was an international competitive bidding process. The tender was floated on the 22nd of August 2022 and the closing was on 2nd of December 2022. The cabinet approval for the project was granted on the 12th July, that was last month, 2023, and letter of award on the 16th of August 2023.
Stay tuned for the stock update. Welcome back. You're with State of Business. Now the stock update. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on positive notes today. The All-Share Price Index gained 106.44 points to close at 11,385.47 and the S&P SL 20 gained 44.91 points to close at 3,249.17. The turnover was 2.9 billion rupees and over 102 million shares were traded. Coming up next are Forex rates. And that's it for tonight. For this and more, subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Facebook.
State of Business was sponsored by
IWS Aviation.
This is Art Television.
Tonight on Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Good morning,